Hey guys, Layles here, and welcome back to my channel after 2 years almost? It's been a long time. I've had a lot of life changes that have definitely kept me busy. I had a lot of work changes in the past year, a lot just going on. I moved out of my parents' house. I have a cat, so you may potentially hear her from time to time. Her name is Noelle, and she is such a sweetie. But I finally got to this place where I thought, I need more time for my creative outlets. So here I am making a video again for you guys. And I hope to get regular as what my original intention was. So, that all being said, let's dive in. So, earlier this week, the Sims team announced the newest expansion pack. And I am so excited. It's, as we all know, high school years. And honest to God, I am so ready for teens to have more gameplay in The Sims 4. That really could potentially separate teens from adults. For so long, we've had really this life stage that acts like a mini adult. As I said, I'm really excited because we have the possibility of getting a lot of extra gameplay with how schools operate and how teens interact. So, things that I'm excited about beyond just saying gameplay. I'm excited for the possibility of having multiple schools. Now, I'm not sure, and I'm a little bit thinking it's probably not gonna happen, is that it's likely, very likely, that we're not gonna be able to build new schools. I would really like to get that option, personally. And, we could. There's some huge customization options that have already been mentioned, like the different swatches for lockers. It looks in the trailer like whatever school is given will and can be customized. So that gives me hope. However, I think they're gonna really make this, honestly, like how Get to Work is, where the school is a rabbit hole unless you choose to go to school with them for the day. And thus, it's in the neighborhood, but it's not something you can just travel to whenever you want. I think this is the case just based on previous precedent with how we've had through other packs different careers added that were playable. And I'm not sure that the Sims team is ready to reinvent that play function as we understand it. Now, something that could happen if we would be able to make schools or build them ourselves within the neighborhood is I think it would be really cool to see how different neighborhoods could interact, possibly. But as I said, I really am not sure. Beyond that, I think it would be just a cool function that would work if we could somehow get this to bridge over to elementary school, because kids are so much underwhelmed too. As a lot of people have commented, up until this point, basically the only life stage that has realistically had decent gameplay has been the young adult life stage. Every other life stage, from toddlers through teens, kids, elders, all of them do not have as much gameplay as they duly deserve. And that's really frustrating because The Sims has potential to be like a real play with life game, but otherwise you're not really playing with life. You're pretending for a hot minute and then you don't get to have the satisfaction of these different life stages. So this new pack is hopefully going to add some things for teens, obviously, but it sets a precedent that, maybe we can start to hope and expect more from the Sims team, but from what we've gotten thus far, I think if we do, it's going to be like packs made separately with the sole purpose of giving this extra content that feels left out. Something that we saw in packs like My First Pet stuff. And I mean, in some ways that can be okay. Like with vampires and werewolves, there was a lot of ways that making those separate game packs allowed for extra customization we might not have had. But just having played through incarnations like The Sims 2, these packs feel like they could include so much more. Now, obviously, I am not the person who knows how Sims ought to be run necessarily. But I'd like to think that I have some sort of idea of what, is worth my dollar. So that's just a side jargon and thought there that relates. Something else that I've noticed about the new high school pack that I'm kind of not sure that I'm thrilled about is it looks like it's going to be adding stuff on that are really kind of like extra tag-on thoughts involving the trendsetter career. They're making it more teen-focused by some influencer stuff, and I mean, it literally says in the release notes that teens will get to design outfits and that's how they get popularity. And I mean, that is something that's really big right now. So yes, there's relevance. But because we have the trendsetter career, we have a university degree in our university pack that's focused towards this, it just feels like extra thought, add-on, let's try to add gameplay really easily, and they could have taken the time they put towards that and made something completely new. Something I really would like to see at some point is for Sims, and it's probably not going to happen in The Sims 4, but for Sims to add on the ability to focus on music academically, whether as an elective or an extracurricular, or for it to be added as a university degree. I'm not sure if I've said it in any other video, but something that really has made me feel a little left out has been that my extracurricular in high school was choir. It was drama club, which we do have drama club. It would be really, really cool if they could somehow incorporate that into the high school pack, honestly, or have ways that it interacts if you have Get Famous. But we don't have anything that lets you add music as an academic thing. Now, I'm sure there's mods out there that probably add it in some capacity, but it's never been a thing. In The Sims 2 for university and in The Sims 3, the only artistic thing that we get as an option for degrees has been fine arts painting, basically. Or like Sims 4, there was also the trendsetter-esque type moving degree. And, thought-wise for me, it just makes me feel like they aren't considering music as a possible academic outlet, when it really is for a lot of people. Not that they should remove art, because that's obviously a big thing for a lot of people too, but I think most people who interact with music on any level whatsoever have done so through school. I mean, I know a lot of people who only really interacted musically in high school choir, whereas I know for me it's different because my family is musical, but I don't expect that everyone is just saying, oh, let's all learn piano and then it's not really a need anymore. Which, newsflash, a lot of people do that when they are young, but they don't keep it up, they don't continue playing, and honest to goodness, sometimes I get irritated because it cheapens how we think of music as something that takes time and discipline. And it does. Believe me, it really does. I went to school for music in college, and there's a lot that you are expected to do. And you have to do it for 0 credit. Because you physically can't have as many credits as what you realistically are doing, if that makes sense to anyone. So, I don't think it's happening, but I do wish that we would see, maybe at least a mod that'll add in music as a possible extracurricular. Now, what we are getting is cheerleading, and it looks like we're probably going to get some sports like American football, which those are big for America. I think it's mainly because those are very American sports. Obviously, as most of the world looks at it, American football, because we say football and what everyone else calls football is soccer in America. Honestly, I wish they would have named our football something different, because I think that's it's confusing and it's rude. But it is a huge thing, because it's a popular sport and they don't really play it much of anywhere else. Nowadays there is some movement into other countries, but it was such an American-focused sport. And cheerleading, to my knowledge, is also really American. I don't think there's other countries that really do that. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I will always own up to if I'm wrong on something like that. But to my knowledge, and things that I've heard from the Cheer series on Netflix, which I don't know whether to rank that as honest, good documentary or trash TV. It's probably somewhere in the middle because of the drama associated. But it really does seem like that is a purely American thing. I wish there was more opportunities maybe to cross over with the things added for university. You could be a soccer player or an esports gamer for your school and university. It would be really cool if they could incorporate that into the high school years pack and make it so you could play in high school and then get recruited in university. And that's a way that you could start doing scholarships sooner for those things, instead of waiting a semester, try to get in, incorporate that into your schedule, and then go ahead and go forth. I think that makes it easier to know if your sim has interest that way, because you have more time to think about it. Another thing that would be interesting is if we could bring back private schools. I will advocate that always. That's something I miss about from Sims 2, was just more options. And I don't think we're getting that, obviously, but it would be really cool if we did. So I'm going to pause for a minute and talk about the build. So since this new expansion pack is for high school years, I am building a replica of the house that my family lived in when I was in high school. I actually spent a lot of my childhood in this house. My parents still own this house. It doesn't exactly look the same anymore. It's pretty similar, I'm not gonna lie. But, it's set up quite differently in some areas. So, I am going to put this on the gallery at some point. My computer is doing weird things with Origin and telling me that it's not online when I am signed on to Wi-Fi. Heaven help me. But I'm not sure how playable this house really is going to be. I know that there is things in the family room, which is our TV room for people who've not heard that term. I know that there's a lot of people that actually don't have family rooms. But other rooms I think should be pretty good. The issue with the family room is that we have a sliding glass door that goes into the backyard. And because this lot was not as big as it needed to be, this is like a 30 by 20 lot, and even though my family's small house is not actually that big because it's all one floor, I guess The Sims just thinks it's a big house. I don't know. I couldn't get anything to really get a good walk down from the platform. So I'm not sure that you'd be able to use the door if you moved the couch that's eventually going to be sitting in that room. But I put the couch there because that's where the couch was. We don't really use that door. We never really have. So it's pretty decent, pretty playable. I tried to make things look dated as much as I could because the house is quite old. It does have some ickiness in the half bathroom, which, funny thing. So when you put this on live mode, the floor's all sparkling because I have the Bust the Dust kit, and so that automatically makes you have to sweep your house, which I thought when that was released that wouldn't happen, but hello, it does. The floor is all sparkling in this room that uses worn linoleum and worn wallpaper that's meant to look dirty, and it's odd. I don't know how else to say it. I tried not to go crazy with expansion packs and using items from multiple games. Unfortunately, it's hard when I'm trying to go for realness. I do know for a fact this uses, I think, Parenthood. I obviously saw the kitchen was Parenthood. I do believe Laundry Day because we have a laundry room, and Get Together for the closets that are in 2 of the bedrooms. And trying to think, I think there's some Get Famous in here too. Oh, and cats and dogs, because we've always had a dog at my parents' house when I was growing up. It was hard to do my bedroom for my teens. My colors for my bedroom were blue, lime green, brown, yellow, and hot pink. And there's not really anything that has that color combination in The Sims 4. I tried to do the best I could, and it ended up, I think, being pinker than I intended. Can't remember what pack the bed is from, but I know it's not base game. And the bed feels way more girlier than my bed ever was growing up. Actually, no, I take that back. My bed when I was in elementary school was very pink, and it had the tulle mosquito nets that everyone used to have when I was a little girl, which actually I think I would have used that as a teen anyways because it gave extra privacy. Always good. But my bed in junior high and high school, I switched to those, you remember those circle design bedspreads from Target, and they had a blue motif one and there was a pink motif one. I think they probably had colors that were different, but those are the 2 vividly in my head. I had the one with all the blue and brown, and the teal I think was in there. And so a lot of my room was based off of that. I also could not find a desk I was happy with that would fit in the room size that I had to do. I lived for doing something that really was different, but it worked for what I needed it to be. But this isn't the worst that I think this room could have turned out. I think the room I'm the happiest with, honestly, is the unplayable family room. Because even though it looks so crazy different, it looked kind of homier than I thought it would. The rest of the house is very, I don't know, mismatched, I guess to say. Bathroom is very almost 70s with a boho vibe, which was not how our bathroom was, but I couldn't find anything that really worked better. I mean, the guest bedroom and my bedroom are very pastel, and then suddenly you get to the living room and what would be the master, bed with the half bath, and it's all like old wallpaper with flower print and leaves and just things that obviously came from cottage living. That is another pack I used. But it's just craziness how mismatched this house really feels. But I guess that's also how the house I grew up with was. Like, I've been reminiscing about high school not simply because of the pack too. Just this last fall, 2021, we celebrated our 6-year anniversary of graduating high school, which, if you're saying that seems like an odd anniversary to celebrate, it is. We were supposed to have our 5-year reunion in 2020, and obviously because of COVID, that did not happen. Instead, our class officers, they decided to push it back a year. So we just had that. I still don't know how I feel about going to the class reunion. There's a lot of things from high school that I miss, and there's a lot of things I also don't miss. I think a lot of people who are past high school can relate to that on multiple levels. I don't miss being someone who, I wouldn't say like I'm all that different, but I think that I have more confidence than I did in high school. I think that I don't ask for permission on things that I don't need to ask permission about as often. I don't miss how left out I felt on a lot of things. I mean, that didn't change so much for me in college though either. I miss musicals and performing on stage in that kind of way. I didn't have the time to do that in college, even though I studied music, because my degree was songwriting, which isn't focused on being in musicals, and I was also in our honors college, and just between that and the fact that I have mental health struggles, which actually got worse while I was in college, it was just too much. And during musical season, that was an extra class you had to take if you were in the musical or opera, because we actually did every other year. You were basically expected to spend your evenings in our PAC, the Performing Arts Center, which, I mean, I did that anyways quite a bit, but it wouldn't have given me as much time to work on homework or rest when I needed that for my mental sake. But I really miss that from high school. I didn't get to be the lead in anything. I mean, I had roles in most of our musicals, I want to say. Yeah, I did, except for senior year, and freshman year is debatable. Those were the 2 years I was in chorus, and freshman year I had a specific additional role of being a tree. We did the Wizard of Oz, so I was in the tree trio that threw apples, and I don't know how many people actually remember this or even realized this, but I accidentally threw my apple off stage into the front row and it hit someone in the stomach. I know a big thing in this pack that they're pushing is the addition of prom and promposals, which is very American. For those who do not have the experience, promposals are semi-common. I don't think I ever witnessed a promposal when I was in high school. I had friends who were in relationships and they just kind of went to prom with their boyfriend, but I don't think I ever saw anyone get the big sign out. That's more something you see in teenage coming of age films in my experience, but I know it's a thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll be recording more things soon. I have some ideas up my sleeves. See y'all on the other side.